Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in to the Box Score Media Podcast, hosted by yours truly, Jay Keaton. It is Monday, February 10th, 2020. And I thought I'd start off today, after having a great weekend, a lot of busy action. Thought I'd start off by talking about the XFL, Week 1 results. First, let's go to the scores. The DC Defenders defeated the Seattle Dragons 31-19. The Houston Roughnecks took care of the LA Wildcats 37-17. Those were Saturday's games. And then on Sunday, we had the New York Guardians defeating the Tampa Bay Vipers 23-3. And then the St. Louis Battlehawks, with the only road team to win, they defeated the Dallas Renegades 15-9. That was the big upset. Dallas, of course, quarterbacked by Landry Jones, who's supposedly the face of the XFL, but face planted early in Week 1 and 15-9 loss to the Battlehawks. So here's my takeaways. I was pleasantly surprised by the action. I thought the talent pool is a lot deeper than I thought. I thought there's a lot of standouts so far. Some of the standout players that I thought, all three quarterbacks, because none of the 8 teams decided to run the ball very much. But P.J. Walker, quarterback of Houston, he was looking real good. Former Houston Cougar quarterback. He was 23 of 39, 272 yards and 4 touchdowns. Did have 1 interception, but he was stellar for Houston, for the Roughnecks. Then quarterback Cardell Jones, formerly of Ohio State, who plays for DC. He was 16 of 26, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns. I think he's going to end up being the MVP because I think he has the most talent around him in DC. I was pleasantly surprised with how they looked. They had a tough matchup against Seattle, who's got a lot of familiar names. And then quarterback Jordan Tamahu, from St. Louis. He was a former Ole Miss quarterback. I believe he is the cousin of Tua Tagovailoa and his brother, the other Tagovailoa. He was 20 of 27, 209 yards and 1 touchdown. Again, led that upset of St. Louis over Dallas. And I was pleasantly surprised with the football action, but what I was really disgusted with was the entertainment aspect of it. First of all, here's something we need to do away with. The rule changes I get. I actually like the extra points. Go for 1, 2, or 3. It'll make it more interesting in close games late in the fourth quarter. But can we stop miking everybody that's associated with the game of the XFL? I mean, they had referees mic'd, assistant coaches mic'd. They were interviewing assistant coaches like in between drives for some reason. I don't know why an offensive coordinator needs that much camera time. Then they were miking the referees they were miking referees and the official review guys up in the press box during a replay. It's like, doesn't that take the suspense and surprise out of and entertainment out of the game? You know, after a referee takes his headset off and comes back, you're kind of like, oh man, rubbing your hands together. You're like, oh, what's the call going to be? It's really going to make a difference. We already know. If you're watching the game on TV, you already know what the freaking call is going to be. So I thought that was kind of a joke. Pat McAfee, who I like, he's entertaining, but after St. Louis beat Dallas, he was interviewing the head coach of St. Louis before he even got to shake hands with the other coach, Bob Stoops of Dallas. He was sitting there interviewing him before he even got to shake his hand. It's like, dude, back off a little bit. Let's make this about the players, okay? Especially in a league with only 8 teams. Why can't we make this about the players rather than the coaches? I mean, my God, they're only making $400,000 a year, unguaranteed, with a bonus of $100,000 per game they win. That's split in between 40 players, so which was probably taxed as well. I don't get this. I don't get that part of it. You know, they've got 2 announcers and they've got like 2 on the field people, reporters that are constantly talking into the microphone, and it's just, okay, step back a little bit. Let the game unwind and work for itself, But sitting there just having so many people mic'd up, and then they have the head coaches mic'd up when they're making play calls. It's like, first of all, nobody understands unless you've played the game, and even then you really don't understand it. And then nobody really cares. Nobody cares what play they're calling. And how easy is it now for, especially with this day and age of media, how easy would it be for somebody on the other team to figure out, hey, when he's calling razor, he's sending this man in motion, they're playing zone or whatever. How stupid can you possibly get? It's taken away from the game. The element of surprise is basically gone when you have everybody mic'd up. So you're giving too many guys opportunities for camera time, but they shouldn't have it. They should be behind the scenes. So I thought that was the big flaw of the weekend. Other than that, the action was great. We had a lot of good players step up. I think that if you really want the league to succeed, you got to take it a little serious. And they're kind of making a joke of it, just like the AAF. There was one point. This is on CBS National Network, the most watched network. And for the AAF, the Alliance Football League, that folded after half a season, they had guys on there saying, well, nobody's watching anyway, so it doesn't matter if we mess up. You're like, well, what's the attitude there? Why are you sitting there talking like that? So I thought that was kind of disappointing. I don't have a problem with putting characters like Pat McAfee in there. And I know that guys like Troy Aikman, Greg McElroy, who's announcing, Luganville, I know those guys are probably tired of football after covering the NFL, the draft, and college football, but still, you take it a little more seriously. You're getting paid, and you're on national TV. Take it a little more seriously, and then the league won't fold after 2 years, which I'm hoping it doesn't, because I think there's a product here, and there could be a fan base here, but you got to take it a little more serious and stop giving everybody a damn microphone, okay? No, the only person who needs a microphone are the 2 announcers and 1 reporter on the sideline. Everybody else, just let them coach, let them play, let them do their thing, and get the heck away from it, okay? Other than that, the talent looks good. The action was good. The rules, I think, can be very exciting, the rule changes. But other than that, if you want an entertaining product, keep it short and sweet, and less is more, okay? That's all I got to say about that. I was pleasantly surprised. I was excited. Put it this way, I'm going to be watching week 2. I'll tell you that. I'm intrigued now, definitely a lot more than the AAF, so we'll see what happens. Okay, that was Saturday, that was Sunday. Saturday night, UFC 247. We saw John Jones barely defend his title against Dominic Reyes. 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46. 3 judges' scores. Let's run through some stats here real quick. Total strikes. Overall striking, Reyes was superior, really. 119 out of 263 compared to John Jones's 107 and 170. Significant strikes, which I still don't know what clarifies a significant strike, but it was 104 for John Jones, 116 for Reyes. Head strikes, 41 for Reyes, 31 for Jones. Body shots, 48 for Reyes, 30 for Jones. Leg kicks, Jones had the advantage, 43-27. The difference here, though, was Jones' ability to take the center of the cage. He does that his whole career. Reyes is one of the best at fighting backwards, but you can't always fight backwards because it's the aggressor that always wins the fight in a lot of the judges' minds. He was 2 of 9 on takedowns. He had 2 big ones in the 5th round, which essentially which gave him the fight, sealed the deal for him, because it was 2-2 going into the 5th. And I said this before the fight, if Reyes wants to win this thing, you're not going to win a decision against John Jones. He's too smart, he's too good, he's too fast, he's too long, he's too big. He's too skilled in MMA to let you take a decision victory. He needed to go guns blazing, and he didn't. And if you look at both those fighters at the end, I know they were tired, I know they were hurt, but they were not. They didn't go through. They didn't go to war with each other. Okay, that was one thing I can tell you just from looking at them. They didn't go to war with each other. They were fine. They didn't go to the hospital. They were doing interviews afterwards. Reyes had I think a bruise under his right eye, a bruise on his left temple, and that was pretty much it. Besides the body, I'm sure they were both sore in the body from leg kicks and body shots. But other than that, I didn't see anything that said both these guys want to lay it on the line. So, and if that's the case for Reyes, you're not gonna win. You're not gonna beat the champion in that regard. You've got to be able to go guns blazing and just lay it on the line, and he just didn't. And then in the end, it cost him. The judges saw it 3 rounds to 2, basically. That's the way I saw it. You could see it, Reyes maybe, but at the same time, it's like, dude, if Jones is going to take center of the octagon and he's going to come out in the 4th and get the takedowns and get the control that he needs to, you know, what can you really do but say, hey, let's hope for a rematch? And I think he's deserving of one. Again, I don't see that this is the best performance ever against John Jones. I think Alexander Gustafsson, the first time he fought John Jones, was definitely better because Jones had cuts over his eyes. Excuse me. He was barely walking. He was limping out of there. Santos the same way. Jones was limping off there. I mean, out of the cage after that fight. But it was brilliant strategy for Reyes to stay in the fight, but he didn't do anything to say to the judges, I deserve to take home the light heavyweight championship. It was a valiant effort, but in the end he came up short. And Jones has like 14, 15 title defenses in a row now because he's just that much better. I think they rematch, and I think after that he'll dominate him because Jones is always, we saw what he did against Gustafsson. We saw what he did against Cormier. He's going to figure it out. You got one shot to take out John Jones. If not, he's going to get the better of you. He always will. So I think they rematch, and then I think Jones moves to heavyweight. Also, the co-main event. My girl, Valentina Shevchenko, defeats Caitlin Chookagian by TKO 3rd round with 1:03 left. Got her in a crucifix. This goes to show right now, I think Valentina Shevchenko is the best female fighter on the planet. I know she's lost to Amanda Nunes twice. I do not care. From what I've seen in the last 3 or so fights, she has more skill than anybody. I mean, just look at these stats. Total strikes, 57 for Valentina, 27 for Caitlin. Significant strikes, 40-17. Headshots. Listen to this though. Valentina was 26 of 48 for headshots. Caitlin Chookagian, 0 of 28. You didn't hit her face twice. Thank God for that. Speaking as a man. Body kicks, she got the better. Caitlin got the better. Legs got the better. But control on the ground and Valentina 3 for 3 for takedowns. I think she's all around the best female fighter on the planet. You know, from her grappling to her striking to her taekwondo to her boxing, everything just fits for her. She is right now in control, and she might get another title defense against Joanne Calderwood, but I think she'll dominate that. She'll face Amanda again, and I think she takes her out because I think she's just in the zone right now. I'm very impressed. I thought for sure she'd end her. I'm surprised Caitlin even made it 3 rounds, honestly. I thought the second round Valentina would get her, but a crucifix, elbows, just basically bullied her way to a victory. So, congratulations Valentina and Jones retaining their titles. Other 3 fights on the main card. Tafa defeated Adams by TKO in the first round. IGE, defeated Bektik. Split decision. And then Derek Lewis, the Black Beast, won a unanimous decision victory over Alir Latifi. I'm surprised it made the distance. I thought for sure Lewis would actually get him 2nd, 3rd round KO. But heavy shots. Latifi proved he's got a chin. But in the end, Derek Lewis, experienced heavyweight. I think he's more experienced fighter now. Was able to come away with the victory. A much needed victory for him. And that wrapped up UFC 247. Good pay-per-view. Next one we got Israel versus Romero, middleweight title. And then I also believe that Joanna champion, former champion, is taking on Weijia Lang, and also for the strawweight title. I love me some Joanna, so I'll definitely be tuning into that one. And then after that, April, Ferguson versus Khabib, which I will definitely be making some wings for that one, because there's not a fight I'm looking forward to this year, and probably all year, than that fight. I pray to God that they actually make it. 5th time, I think, will be a charm. So let's go Khabib, let's go Ferguson, let's do it. Let's just make this the best lightweight championship fight of all time. All right. For those of you watching college basketball this weekend, had some great games, but none better than Duke, North Carolina. If you happened to tune into that one Saturday night, you were in for a treat. It was definitely game of the year. Duke defeats North Carolina 98-96 in overtime. North Carolina, I think, had a 96-91 lead with 57 seconds left, if I'm not mistaken. Couple of and ones, layups, couple of miscues from North Carolina, not being aggressive enough. And in the end, it was 96 all. With Duke at the free throw line to take the lead. It's missed. It's tipped backwards near half court. Duke gets the rebound, throws it up from the free throw line with about 2 seconds left. It's a little to the left, and then all of a sudden, just the offensive putback off the rim, and it bounces a couple times, goes in with no time left. It was an instant classic. Like I said, definitely game of the year, without question. There's nothing that was more competitive. North Carolina had a chance with Cole. Cole had a great game, but in the end, Duke was able to get it done. And it was bittersweet for me because of what Roy Williams said beginning of this year. When in North Carolina went like on a 4-game losing streak, he said, "This is the least talented team I've ever coached." Just basically throwing his team under the bus because they're not talented enough. Well, excuse me. Look at the UD Flyers in the top 10 in the nation. You look at Wright State. I'm just naming some teams from Ohio that are doing a heck of a lot better. You look at Notre Dame, who won against Clemson, 61-57, by the way. They've won 4 straight. You know, they're doing better. You telling me that your third string is any worse recruits than those guys, starters? I mean, come on now. Give me a break. Stop with this crap. Now you're actually needing to coach and you're not getting it done, so you're just going to throw your teammates under the bus and say they're the least talented. Give me a break. You're not getting it done. Now that you actually have to use your skills as a coach and experience to get these guys where you want to, all of a sudden you're coming up short and you're telling everybody that it's because of talent. Give me a break. It's not because of talent. You're North Carolina. You're always going to have the talent. You've got to step up, and you got to make your team step up. If those players aren't doing good, it's on you, Roy Williams, okay? So that was a great game. Glad I watched it. Other noticeable games, Kansas defeated TCU 60-46. Auburn defeated LSU by 1 in overtime. That was a great one. Seton Hall over Villanova 70-64. Louisville over Virginia 80-73. Michigan, where's that score at? Michigan defeated Michigan State 77-68. Michigan State, former number 1 team in the country. They were number 1 preseason. They're actually going to be unranked in the new top 25. And Kentucky over Tennessee 77-64. And also, because I live in Dayton, go Flyers, number 6 in the country. They defeated St. Louis 71-65. I'm hoping for at least a 2 seed for them. Maybe at least a Sweet 16 run, but who knows. Real quick, let's go over the new top 25 action, or excuse me, the new top 25 rankings. Top 5, you got Baylor, Gonzaga, Kansas, San Diego State, Louisville, Dayton, Duke, Florida State, Maryland, and Seton Hall round out the top 10. So Seton Hall breaks into the top 10 for the first time this year. 11 through 15, Auburn, Kentucky, Penn State, West Virginia, Villanova. 16 through 20, Colorado, Oregon, Marquette, Butler, and Houston. And 21 through 25, Iowa, Illinois, Creighton, Texas Tech, and LSU, who dropped 7 spots, even though they lost by 1 point to the number 11 team in the country. I don't get that, but oh well. All right, and of course, we move on to women's basketball, college basketball. Here's scores for Sunday. Or excuse me, yeah, having trouble loading this. Number 13, Maryland over Rutgers, 79-50. Florida State over Virginia, 63-55. Number 8, Mississippi State over Texas A&M, 69-57. Syracuse upsets number 5, Louisville, 59-51. Arizona over Oregon State, 65-58 in overtime. Arkansas, 103 points. Wow, go girls. Arkansas over Kentucky, 103-85. And finally, Oregon smashes Arizona State, 79-48. Women's rankings, top 25. South Carolina, Baylor, Oregon, NC State, and Connecticut. Mississippi State, UCLA, Stanford, Louisville, and Maryland round out the top 10. 11 through 15, Oregon State, Arizona, DePaul, Florida State, and Gonzaga. 16 through 20, Texas A&M, Iowa, Kentucky, Northwestern, and Indiana. 21 through 25, South Dakota, Arizona State, Arkansas, Missouri State, who's sitting there at 20-3, just hanging around the end of the top 25, and then Tennessee is your 25th team in the nation. So great basketball this weekend. NHL action. We'll go over scores for Sunday, because I know there's a lot of hockey fans out there. That's one thing I've always said about hockey. There's be a lot of, I don't understand, honestly, just speaking as a guy, I don't see how a guy doesn't watch any kind of sport. But what I notice is that a lot of people that don't watch any sports, they'll say, "Oh, I'll watch hockey every now and then." So it's just one of those sports because it's a little different. But Sunday scores: Red Wings over the Bruins, 3-1. The Ducks defeat the Sabres, 3-2. Rangers over the Kings, 4-1. Jets defeat the Blackhawks, 5-2. And the Avalanche over the Wild, 3-2. I'm going to go ahead and go over some NHL standings right now. Let's just go over the look of the conference leaders right now. In the Atlantic Division and the Eastern Conference, you got Boston leading the way, 34-11. 34-11. In the Metropolitan, you got Washington at 36-14. For the Western Conference and the Central, you got St. Louis 32-15, and in the Pacific, Vancouver at 30-21 on the season. So again, your leaders: Boston, Washington, St. Louis, and Vancouver, top 4 teams in the NHL right now. All right, finally, scores, NBA action from Sunday. One great game was the Utah Jazz taking on the Houston Rockets. Jazz winning it. Bogdanovich, a three-pointer at the end. 114-113 victory for the Jazz. Go Jazz. Celtics over the Thunder, 112-111. Grizzlies over the Wizards, 106-99. Hawks defeat the Knicks in double overtime, 140-135. That's the battle for second to last place in the East. So whoever is trying to avoid being the worst placed team in the East, Hawks get the advantage there. 76ers over the Bulls, 118-111. Clippers over the Cavaliers, 133-92. And the Trailblazers defeat the Heat, 115-109. Okay, games to watch tonight. NBA, you got the Pacers taking on the Nets. You got the Raptors taking on the Timberwolves. Nuggets taking on the Spurs. Denver is a 7-point favorite. I say they win by 12. Warriors taking on the Heat. This could be an interesting one. Miami's a 5-point favorite on the road. I think the Warriors get them tonight. I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with the Warriors not only covering the 5-point spread, but I think the Warriors upset the Heat tonight. It would be Wiggins, I think, second game as a Golden State Warrior. He's going to settle in a little bit, and I think they're going to Heat, of course, going from Miami, Eastern time zone to Western time zone, might throw them off a little bit. And then finally, late game tonight, Lakers taking on the Suns. Lakers 12-point favorite. I say they win by 16. Also tonight, you got Duke and Florida State. Both teams 20-3, 7-8 matchup. Florida State given 8 in this one. I think Duke rebounds after that win against North Carolina, and I think they blow out Florida State tonight. I mean, I'm talking 20-point win. Then you got number 1 Baylor traveling to Texas. Baylor 6-point favorite. I think they cover there. And then Texas Tech taking on TCU at home. Texas Tech 10 points favorite. I like Texas Tech at home. But I think TCU covers though. NHL action tonight. Coyotes, Canadians, Panthers, Flyers, Islanders, Capitals, Lightning, Blue Jackets, Predators, Canucks, and the Flames taking on the Sharks. And that is it for me. A lot of great action tonight. It was a great weekend for sports. XFL is kicking off week 2 this weekend. I will give my predictions on Friday, as well as more college basketball standings. Again, great job Notre Dame. Way to win 4 in a row. Defeated Clemson 61-57. Right now they're hovering about 7 or 8 in the ACC. If they can get 11 or less losses, I think they got 2 so far. They've got 2 ranked teams left on the schedule. If they can just get one of those, 11 losses, a win over a top 10, maybe a first-round win in the ACC tournament, who knows? They could sneak in as a first 4. Because they could have the resume, but because there's a lot of teams, but you got Duke and Louisville basically in the ACC. Florida State's also there, and then you got everybody else, and it's just a dogfight, and they're beating up on each other. Virginia's not that great. North Carolina stinks. It's going to be interesting to see, and so I'm just hoping the Irish can just pull through a little bit. Mike Bray, get Mooney going. Just a little bit more. He's been hot lately. Let's keep it going this way so we can find out just how good they can be. And maybe we can make the tournament. Who knows? But it should be very interesting to see. Ooh, also the Jazz tonight taking on the Mavericks. Utah 1.5-point favorite. They'll win by 5. All right. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. Catch the show on YouTube. This has been the Box Score Media Podcast, hosted by Jay Keaton. Thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you on Friday, players.